Skylanders Swap Force, debuting on PS4 at Gamescom. How does that feel?
You know, it feels really awesome to be able to bring out Swap Force on so many platforms. And the key thing with Skylanders is, you know, with the toys that really tell unique stories to each of our customers, you know, they can take it from friend's house to friend's house and play, you know, regardless of platform. So it's a really cool opportunity to bring it to PS4, which is what we're showing here. Really allows players to really fully immerse in the Skylands. You know, allows us to show it in a type of detail that people have never seen it before. Like you're seeing your favorite Blu-ray movie in true 1080p, as well as with a number of visual enhancements and advanced graphical features.
I love that comparison. I'm going to use the Blu-ray thing from now on anytime I'm talking about upscaling to Xbox One and PS4. That's amazing. We talked at E3 about the different techniques for snapping the different characters together. But what I'd like to sort of focus on is the characters themselves, about sort of the character creation. I mean, how many characters are we seeing in the game?
So in Skylanders Swap Force, you'll see 16 all-new Swap Force Skylanders, 16 new core Skylanders, 16 returning favorites that are either Series 2 or Series 3, as well as light core Skylanders and exclusive editions. Now, in all, in the Skylanders universe, there are over 80 characters. And in terms of versions of the toys, over 120 versions of the toys. Now, why we do this, we wanted to offer a kind of variety to players that they can find a collection that's truly their own. And with the Swap Force in particular, with 16 Swap Force characters where you can mix and match the top and bottom halves, you can create over 250 unique combinations of Skylanders, you know, with that. Now, in terms of the character design, we first look at, it's sort of an integrated process between designers, artists, and our game programmers. And we look at what would make for fantastic gameplay, and what would be a kind of a unique visual and story that the Skylander would tell just by looking at him. And how would he come to life in a way that you haven't quite seen before that would be a true complement to your collection? No two Skylanders are alike, and that means that you can really build a set that's truly your own. And we can look at a couple of guys in the background here. You have our pirate octopus here, Washbuckler. You know, personally, I haven't seen a pirate octopus in the past. And here, Washbuckler really offers a unique set of capabilities. He's got a bubble gun. He can bubble up and suspend enemies. You can upgrade this gun and suddenly piranhas come out and devour the enemies as well. He's got his trusty cutlass, but what's really cool about his tentacles, it gives him a climbing ability and access to all new climbing zones. He also uses the bottom half for novel ink attacks. Now, that makes him a cool kind of cohesive pirate octopus. And when a child picks up the toy, they'll be able to tell some of that story, but not all of the story. I wonder what the bubble gun does. I wonder what the tentacles do. Now, when he's combined with Blast Zone, now you have a pirate with rocket boots, a totally different set of capabilities. And now you're telling a different story about your toy. So it's really with the child at the center, as the portal master, telling unique stories about the characters that they're discovering for the first time. It's really important for that originality in the Skylanders games. So with Skylanders Swap Force, we're able to tell an all-new, unique set of stories for the kids that play the game. Now, the cool thing about Skylanders Swap Force is all the toys are available and compatible with Skylanders Swap Force, and they've been all remastered. And especially on PS4, they'll all be available in 1080p. So when you do that, when you mix and match the old Skylanders or the existing collection with the new Skylanders Swap Force, you're really bringing a massive army together, you know, for your new adventure. And that's a very, very cool and powerful feeling.
Well, where does inspiration strike? In fact, I would be quite scared to ask you where inspiration strikes for such a variety of different characters. I mean, but where's the base idea? I mean, where do you build from? Do you go, right, what we need to implement on a sort of level design, what type of creature would complement that, or is it creature first, then level design built around there?
You know, it's a really interesting question. It's not a linear process. So we go in loops. So we start with, what kind of gameplay haven't we quite seen before? And what kind of gameplay would go between this character and that character, between two different characters? Now, what would he look like? Now, if he looked like that, he really ought to do this other thing. And so now you go from gameplay to visual design, and then visual design back to gameplay. And then we get some technology involved and say, well, what would be really interesting is if we, for example, take the bubble gun, we captured a person and spun him in the air. Now, what would that enemy look like when he's spinning in the air? And what could we do unique with him? Well, let's put some piranhas on the fella and see what happens then. And so this becomes a real iterative process. And so we do the same thing also when we manage upgrades within a character. So each Swap Force character has 16 upgrades, 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom, with unique upgrade paths as well. So you have upgrade paths on the top that emphasize the cutlass or the bubble gun. You make a choice. And on the bottom, it's about the tentacles or the ink attacks. Then you make a choice. And each of these branches offer a discovery opportunity that's really cool. Now, the really cool challenge for us as designers then is how do you create a world where the world is a playground for all of your toys, and they all have different tactical purposes, but they all kind of hold together in a common experience. And so that's kind of a really neat creative challenge for us.
I don't know whether we've touched upon yet the actual toys themselves. I mean, that is, I guess, part of the iterative process as well, getting that toy looking exactly as they would in game. I mean, how does that process work? You're taking it to a set of guys going, look, this is the look, that's what we want, make that in toy form. But I'm assuming it's not that simple.
Actually, we're very integrated in the toy making process, and so at Activision we do almost all of that internally. We work with the initial sort of character designs in the concepting phase and how we construct the game mechanics, but then we quickly go to, well, how are we going to bring this to life in a toy format? How's that toy going to be a work of a real sort of a well-crafted piece? How's it going to look like? I want to have this in my collection. How's it going to tell a story with its pose and the materials that we use and so forth? And now how does that come back into the game and exhibit this same personality? How can we make one play off the other? So the personality in the game plays off the activity on the toy and so forth. And with Skylanders Swap Force, the swappability mechanic means that when you put a top half on a bottom half, that new guy actually looks like a new Skylander. He doesn't look like he doesn't belong. And how do we make a line that's... So these are the questions that we answer on a continuous basis. And sometimes they're challenging questions too. But it's also really where we go for creative inspiration. It's like if we can actually answer these questions and they're done in a cohesive manner, that becomes a very special experience. And that's what I think we've done on Skylanders Swap Force.
I guess you have to make them sturdy as well. I mean, these things, people will want to be displaying them in cases, but kids are going to be playing with them. Absolutely. What sort of testing do you do with these things?
Oh my goodness, we involve hundreds of kids in the development of Skylanders Swap Force and all the Skylanders games. And the reason for that is we had to be focused on our core demographic. This may be a child's first video game when they come into it at 5 or 6 years old. And by the time they're 10 or 12, they're very experienced gamers. These things take a beating. So we need to make sure the build quality is great. We need to make sure with the Skylanders Swap Force that action of swapping is immediate, it's satisfying, and it's durable. And so that's the kind of investment that we make in this. Now, a lot of R&D goes into that. A lot of testing goes into that to be able to see, does it actually hold together? How does it work? And that kind of thing, too. How are the toys very safe for the children as well? So we're really focused on that.
Excellent. We're sort of wrapping up then. Where are you guys at the moment? We've seen what you've shown at Gamescom. What you got left?
We're close at this point. Really excited about the new systems that we're showing. I'm really excited about all the versions. The game will be coming out in North America on October 13th, in Europe on October 18th. So we're very close to the finish line here and really excited to show the world Skylanders Swap Force.
Okay, well, I think we'll leave you to it. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Okay, thank you very much also.
Prepare to bow down to Princess Chaos! Now I am evil and dainty! Actually, this taffeta is quite soft.